Hello and welcome to today's video, and in today's video we have a lot to unpack, and I mean a lot to unpack. You obviously know what we are going to be doing today, but it's been a while since I've uploaded. So what happened? I've been to Ultrace. We have hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I'm very, very thankful for. Thank you very much for subscribing, liking and watching. But we have also went viral on Instagram, and I think it's a bit of an understatement because we have grew about, I want to say 24,500 followers in 2.5 months, which is, it's absolutely crazy. I have recorded a video about this. It's a completely different story. I may post this or re-record it just to make it even better because something extra happened on Instagram. So with the underglow, I know that many purists are going to be upset. If this was a Subaru BRZ, no one would really care and people would appreciate. But doing this on an E92 M3, I agree it's a bit of a sacrilegious move, but my inner child is actually giggling, and currently I'm actually giggling too. So this here, let me give you a quick zoom, but this here is the cheapest set I was able to find on AliExpress. And the reason why I got the cheapest set was because I'm not sure if I'm going to end up running this or if I'm going to end up getting a new one, but I wanted to see what I can get for the money. It was relatively cheap, only like €25. Kind of a bargain. So first off, there is obviously instruction. The instruction shows pretty well what this set is about. So instead of all of the strips being kind of connected to each other in like a snake pattern or in series, this is connected in parallel. So each of the LED strip is connected to the receiver. Now this is good and this is bad, because if one of the LED strips goes, the rest of them are still alive. But the main issue is that there are just more wires. And yeah, that's pretty much the only trade-off as I can think of. Now, if we actually move this away, don't mind this, I will go over it in a sec. But here we have the receiver, we got the power cable, which I will essentially show you. I mean, this video is about connecting it up, so again, I will show you how this is all going to be connected. But we do have 4 of those LED strips. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter for the sides, for the back, but I already can think of few issues. Let me go over the first one. So obviously we have a lot more cables. A lot more cables will need to be routed just so we don't pull on any cables while going. Hopefully you can't hear that car, but I have 3D printed some clips. So essentially the idea was to 3D print one of those clips that will essentially go over the cable just in case we will need some extra support, but we can utilize this with some double-sided tape to actually route the cable through it, which I think will this focus? It's not a bad idea in my opinion. So now, before we even proceed with this, we should definitely find out if this works. I have tested it some time ago, pretty long time ago, but again, it's been a while. So I have my positive cable, my negative cable, and yeah, let's check this out. Okay, so we can see that it works. I do have few ideas on attaching those cables to, you know, all of this, but it's definitely going to have to be refined. So now to the plan of action. Initially, I thought that this was going to be way quicker, way easier. Nothing ever car related is quicker and easier, but the plan of action is as follows. We're going to have the receiver and the power up here under the hood. I feel like it is going to be a lot cleaner than routing it in the back. Very counterintuitive, but I just prefer and feel more comfortable having it here. Now, I'm not sure if you have seen my short about like the most ridiculous BMW engineering crap, but you can see that there's a thing sticking up down here. Well, sticking down here or up there. But on this side, we don't have that because some speed bum decided that I don't need it, and so I don't have it. Now, this is a perfect hole for actually routing the power cable into here, around the lamp, and all the way up here, away from all of the worm components. But again, I might use the heat protective tape, I think it's called, whatever it's called, and mount it somewhere, again, right here. I was able to figure out our first issue, and check this out. So here is the power cable. It's actually quite long, but I was hoping to have this receiver under the hood, but it looks like this cable isn't long enough. I don't want to have 4 cables going through like the engine bay down under the car. So I'm gonna have to think of something else. Now, ideally, we could put this into like the glove box, but again, I'm not sure how long I'll have this. Let me show you the setup. So the car is on 2 jack stands, right here and right there, as well as on 2, whatever those stands are called. I guess I'm gonna start with the power cable because it seems kind of quick and easy. I'm gonna attach it to somewhere here, I guess, so it doesn't go anywhere. and that we have plenty of cable left here. We will probably most likely going to have to clean this up later, but essentially I'm trying to route it as far away from all of the heat as possible. And I do see a bit of a gap here in some aluminium bracket. Okay, so initial step achieved. Where this is gonna go, I'm still not sure. I'll have to figure out a place for the receiver. Okay, so let me show you the current situation below the car. So here we got obviously the bumper. This is where this kind of notch was, but again, like it was ripped out. And yeah, so we have two options. Either locating the light strip under the bumper, which I don't like. I think that it would look tacky. Or we can utilize this kind of protection right here and stick it behind the bumper, which I think would be a lot more convenient. Now, eventually, let me flip the camera around. Eventually, I am going to want to get an aluminium under tray cover, which would be ideal for it. And then I could essentially chop up the cables, make like quick connects, so we can actually disconnect it, connect it without an issue. Because obviously there's going to be an issue here with us taking off that under tray cover. It's going to be connected with wires. But that's, I guess, a future me problem. I guess future me whenever I'll be replacing a hose, because I have a hose to replace of a hydraulic system. But for now, I feel like this is going to be sufficient enough, and I guess we can work, or we can learn from this work to be better at the next time, if there will be next time, of LED strips mania. Welcome back to day 2. Now, yesterday we were rained out, but just before I have noticed that we may have two possible issues, additional possible issues, but I've already tested one. So first off, we are going to definitely mount the LED strip to the under bumper rather than the tray. The tray is just not long enough, and yeah, that's the main issue there. On the sides, there isn't much plastic to attach the LED strips to. And that material, I thought that this was not going to hold the tape, but I have just done a test with a double-sided tape on this kind of small bracket, if it's ever going to focus, and it turned out to be fine. So we're going to proceed and attach the side LED strips to that material thing, but on the front, we definitely have to go with the front bumper. And even for the front bumper, the LED strip is still too long, just by about 10 centimeters on each side. I have ordered the longest. I should have measured. I didn't know what the LED fun play thing was about, but now I know, and now I know what to watch out for whenever, if ever, we're gonna get better ones. First off, we are going to clean the bumper, and I am using a window cleaner for that. I can already see so much scratches on this, and I hope I'm not gonna rip those LED lights off. LED strips are on the floor. We have two shorter ones, two longer ones, and the cable should be sufficient. So now I guess it's time to fit our very first one. So as I've mentioned, the LED strip is too long, so it is going to kind of go over those little kind of bumps, whatever you want to call them. But we need to make it work somehow. Obviously, the wire has to go on this side, but I think I'm going to measure it off like this, and then kind of stick it in the middle and then follow it. I mean, worst case scenario, we can just use another tape, but yeah, it's not making me any more calm. Is this definitely not different to the other one? No. Wait, is this going to be sufficient cable for... Will this be sufficient enough to lead it down to the back? I haven't thought about that. Fuck. So this cable length is the exact same length as this cable length. Okay, let's rewind. I'm gonna lead all of the cables and see if they will actually be able to kind of reach. You're going here. This is going to the other side. So this is the front, and this has to reach all the way to the back, which I don't think it will. I don't believe this. So I can't believe this. Just to show you, this is as far as it reaches, because right now, as I'm pulling on it to pull it back, it's already pulling the receiver, and we can't really mount the receiver underneath the car because, like, where would we put it? It is not sealed. We could seal it with some silicone or something, but it's not ideal. Like, this is where the receiver is, and this is where I'm kind of hoping to put it. So this is already not far enough. And again, this cable right here for the front LED is the same, literally the same length as the one in the back, which doesn't make any sense. So there are 3 options that we really have, maybe 4. We could either run one of the side ones to the back and then have the back one on the left or right, but that is gonna look too goofy. We can cut the cable, extend it, which is something I don't really want to do to this set. I mean, this set is just really to kind of try it out, see if I like it, get some nice kind of reels with it, some nice clips. And the last idea that I can think of is to literally just either cut the cable and not have the 4th strip, or we can have the 4th strip and run it just under the car. So I think we should do it just like any other sane person would do, and just worry about the problems later. So let's get the front one installed, the side ones, and then worry about the other one. I have probably took the worst pose I could. This feels so awkward. Okay, so... oh, I don't like this. So the bumper twists, and if we were to do like a straight LED strip, what would happen is the LED strip would be like this, it would be hanging out, so we definitely need to curve it. So I think this would be fine, and let me just use my head to kind of stick it, and I'll try my best to use my head in order to kind of lead it with the edge of the bumper. Oh, I can't believe this. What the fuck am I doing to this car? This just feels so wrong on so many fucking levels. I honestly can't even look at it. This was like possibly like probably the worst idea I've had in a long time. Let me show you. So, just to show you, you can see the LED strip run right there. And it looks goofy. Like, I wish it could be run somewhere here, not here, like right on the bumper, because obviously, like, I am going to get a front lip. Like, I honestly should have mounted this a little further, because like right now, this cable is just hanging out like right here, and there isn't a way to kind of twist it. Let me show you up close. So like right here, it is in such a goofy position. Like, what in the fuck have I done? Okay, let's do the other ones and then see the final product. It may not be bad in the end. I am regretting this choice right now. Those cheap LED strips, you can see this one already kind of peeling away. I will have to probably use some extra tape, but yeah, I'm not liking this. Someone literally almost just stole their car. What the fuck? Someone almost stole their car twice. Okay, so just to have it somewhat in the same space, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use literally the end of the clothed panel right here, and it should technically reach the other side, just so it's like perfect. So it's time for another peel. I think this time I'm going to kind of peel it off, stick it up, and then peel it off as I go, because it is a longer strip and I do have kind of more of an area to stick to and maneuver around. So let's go. Now this I can get behind. That actually looks proper. Let me show you up close. So right here is where the clothed material starts. And I kind of went alongside of it. Now there were a few of those kind of weird holes that I had to kind of go around, but look what I've done towards the very end. I have twisted it to the inner side of the car because it was too long, and I think that is going to give it a nice touch. But honestly, Ah, that camera action, I know. This doesn't look bad compared to the front, but again, we're yet to see the entire kind of product, the finished product. Both of the side LED strips are on, the front one is on. I think with the rear one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna chop it off and I will secure the connections on both ends. I got some scissors now. Which one is the rear one? Yeah, it's definitely not going to reach, not a chance. So, all right, let's, I don't know why this hurts. It's cheap. It doesn't reach anyway, but I've done it. I've done it. And yeah, I feel like this is isolated enough. So I honestly have thought that today is going to be a struggle of a day, but the sun is just going down and we still have plenty of time to cable manage. Now watch if things will go wrong, but I think we are currently at an okay point. So I've done the cable management. Let me show you how it looks. Now, before you look at it, I don't think I'm going to keep it for a long time, and next time I'm going to talk about it near the end, but we are going for the LEDs in series if we will go for them. But I'm not sure if you can see right here. Let me kind of flip the screen, turn up the ISO. But basically, we have utilized those clips right here to lead the cables. Now I know they are hanging, but they are going to be under tension, so they aren't going to sag. Same thing with the other side. And we are basically going to be pulling up them to here. With the receiver, I am going to stick it with double-sided tape onto the actual kind of underside of the vent. Camera action professional, yeah, but underside of the vent right here. I cannot explain how important it is to actually mount all of this correctly. So what I'm going to do is, just for the purpose of the video, I'm going to mount this like I've said, but I'm going to lift up the hood, take a picture of the hood, I'm going to take the picture of the underside, and then I'm going to go home, open Fusion 360 and get the planning, print out something that will allow us to keep the receiver sealed, and also something that is going to look aesthetic. And then another thing that I will have to do is find a way to kind of secure all of those cables. Now there is a bracket in there which is holding this kind of underside, and I think I'm going to utilize this. I'm going to use zip ties as they have provided in this set and kind of get all of the cables tight and secure them. That way, it is very ghetto. I did not expect this to turn out like this, but I mean, at least I know why the more expensive LED lights are more expensive, and I know what to look for next time I'll be buying them, so it's not all bad. Okay, let's get the torch on, and as you can see, I have stuck the receiver up above, and those cables are holding to the metal bracket right here. Hopefully that's visible enough. I've tied each cable individually, and then I've tied the plug, and you can also see that the cables, they are actually pretty tight, so they are not kind of hanging down, which is what we want. So now what's left to do? There is a plug which you can get and kind of clip it on in order to be able to connect the cable, but I think it's a lot of an overkill in this type of situation. So I'm just going to strip this cable back, and once stripped, I'm going to try to kind of put it over and close the positive terminal. Obviously I'm going to give it a little rub just to make sure that the contact is fine, and then with the negative one, I'm definitely going to have to find a place to kind of, I guess, squeeze it, but I'd like the positive terminal to be on at all times, and then this negative one to be kind of stored, so they're not active all the time, only whenever I want to connect them up. The cable is stripped, so again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this positive terminal a good rub, put the cable over, clip this on in hopes of this cable holding on. And yeah, they are glowing. I was just able to find the perfect solution, or at least I think it's perfect. First off, zip tie the cables. Again, this will all be redone, and again, this needs to be done properly. You can burn your car this way if you aren't careful, so do really be careful. So positive cable is right here in the positive terminal. That worked, so I've put the cable over, I've put the cap on top, and that seems to be holding. And here, as I've said, I found a screw, and the cool thing is it's one of those kind of cool thumb screws, so now I can actually easily undo the screw and obviously then screw it back on, take off the cable, and the LEDs should be off. I know from this side it is looking ugly as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, it is absolutely fucking, it's an abomination. But we're gonna lower the car. We're gonna wait for it to darken slightly. And then we're gonna have a look. Now, actually, there is an option of me to connect the phone to this LED receiver. And I guess I'll see what I can do to it. But so far, I have very little hopes, but I still have hopes. I was able to connect to the app. I haven't done anything in the app. I've literally just opened it. So first off, we are able to change colors. That's fine. We do have modes. So you can, I guess, set different modes. I don't think I've got the time to try them all, but you can set speed and brightness of each one. Obviously, we want it at full brightness. Now, I'm very aware of that you probably can't see me, but I got the car in behind the back, so let's give it a test. I mean, from a distance, it doesn't look bad, but let me show you the very first thing that's kind of sticking out is when you look at the front, you can see the entire LED strip. You have to come close to the car in order not to see it. So let's do this again, but so you can actually see, like you can see the LED strip from afar, but as you come closer, that LED strip gets covered. Now, as I've said, this would be solved and this will be solved whenever I get the aluminium underplate. I'm just gonna stick it alongside of the aluminium underplate. It's one piece instead of three, which it is currently at the moment. And yeah, if we are going to decide to stay with underglow, we definitely need to do something about this because I'm not a fan. Now the LED strip on the side, hopefully you can see there, but it actually doesn't extend throughout the entire side of the car. That's maybe the reason why people don't put LEDs or LED strips on those cars. It is very, I don't want to say difficult, but it just doesn't feel right doing it, and it doesn't feel right physically doing it. Like the space isn't there for those LED strips to exist, honestly. I'm gonna give you a quick kind of walk around so you can kind of see, again, we don't have any rare LED strips. The footage is probably shaky AF, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can see a bit of the light kind of strobe, which is concerning, possibly, but I mean, it doesn't look that bad. It definitely doesn't look as bad as I have initially imagined, but I mean, the front LED strip, yeah. The previous clip you have probably seen was the one from yesterday. I said all my goodbyes, all of the good stuff, but I came home and noticed some things. First off, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but all of the cables, they are sagging. Now, obviously that's my fault. The clips didn't really work. I have done it in the past. It worked fantastic. It just didn't work here. Maybe I had to let them be on for some time, let them stick correctly, but I didn't. Went on a drive. I've checked it every so often until come back home, and that's when I've realized that the clips were off. So I'm gonna have to do them up today. Another thing is that the cables were abnormally warm under the hood. Now they weren't connected, so it's just the heat coming from the engine. I will probably have to cover them up with the anti-heat or insulation tape, whatever. Another mess up on my part. Again, I didn't know, but whenever I was putting on the LED strips, I thought that even having them off to the side just slightly or more towards the front of the car isn't going to kind of impact how they are lit. I thought that, you know, they're going to be pretty bright, but it is very evidently visible that there are no LEDs right here, because I'm not sure if I've shown you, but there is a cloth material underneath the car and it finishes somewhere right here, and I didn't want to stretch it to the very back because there is plastic and there's this little hump, and I wasn't sure if the cable or if the LED strip will stick on correctly and be stuck on, because if the LED strip isn't stuck on correctly everywhere, eventually over time you will get some dirt and stuff underneath and they will kind of come off, and it was something that I was looking to avoid, but yeah, I don't think it is avoidable. It's time to sum up the set. The two positives, the only two positives, is it's cheap. It works. It doesn't work entirely because of the other LED strip on the back not reaching. So that kind of moves us to the negatives. First off, obviously it is the cable that doesn't reach to the back. So we're only running 3 LED strips. It's not ideal. Second off, definitely, it's the placement of the actual receiver. So the power cable is long from the receiver, but the receiver is too close to all the LED strips, so it's really difficult to kind of place it above under the hood. rather than here. It's not ideal. I don't really like that. I guess I'm gonna be finishing this up in the rain, but as I was saying, the 4 cables, so a lot of higher end LED strips are in series. So basically it's an LED strip connected to an LED strip connected to an LED strip. Here we have 4 cable. That's a lot of cables to manage, and a lot of possible kind of cables that can drag down and fall off the bottom of the car and cause some bad time. I don't like that. So I guess this kind of sums up the negatives and the positives. I mean, would I recommend this set? I mean, to be honest, if you've got an old clapped out car, you might as well. If you're looking for LED strips, it's gonna kind of refresh the look of your car. Now, for this car specifically, for all the higher end cars, I would not recommend it. I think that it just ruins the car in a way. Like, getting proper LED strips and making it look the way it should is definitely the way to go. So I've actually managed to get this done before the rain. So I show you how I have attached the cable, because it's actually not a bad idea. So here on the left side, I am essentially leading the cable right to where this bracket is. It is for controlling the level of the lights. And right from it, I am leading the cable to the front, which I will show you now. The other cable is also led to the front, and here I am essentially utilizing the lack of screw. I will get to it now in a sec. And all of the wires go up here to where we have hid the wires. Now it's starting to rain again, but basically the reason why there are no screws in that under tray cover, it's dark again, let me hit the lights, is because the shop that I gave my car away to, for doing a rebuild on a steering rack, they just didn't put those 3 in, which again reinforces how difficult it is to find the right shop and people to work on the car. Now, whenever I'm going to get my E92 335 back, I will tell you all about it. Oh man, there are so many things to tell you about it. But yeah, till then, you'll just have to wait. Next video, I'm going to give you some updates whether I do decide to keep those LED strips. Has anything broken? It's been raining, so for all I know, they could be already broken. If I'm going to rock them, I think I've already mentioned that, but did I order a new set of LED strips? Better ones. I'll let you know that as well. But yeah, I think that's all in terms of this LED strip. But again, before I go, first off, again, I said it in the video, but I would like to thank everybody for watching, subscribing, following, commenting, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of it. Again, like currently what's going on with my social media, it's more than I could have ever expected, and it's making it so fun. And yeah, I cannot wait where this will go, like especially with the fact that we haven't done much to the car. So much more to do, so I am really excited, and I hope you are too. Hope you have enjoyed this video. I would consider this video more of a failure, but that's okay. We learn. We have learned a lot of things. I have never seen anybody mount LED strips to E92 M3 when I was looking for some information, and now hopefully this sort of information will help you, because it definitely did help me. So again, hope you're having a good day, and I will hopefully see you in my next video. Take care, and to the next one.